Thank you guys for all being here. Not just the sheriffs, the guys, the sergeants, the deputies, the citizens. It's huge because the gap that we are trying to fill, being America's last hope, starts with you guys and the deputies that go out and push that cruiser. Because we as the sheriffs, we instill you with a lot of trust. We trust you guys to take up to including taking a life. But the biggest thing is every single day, the deputies, the sergeants, all the line staff, you guys are truly, truly the face of our agencies. So thank you guys. Citizens, thank you guys for being here. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to say thank you for allowing me to speak and have your ear for the next couple minutes. After I was invited here today, I got to thinking to myself, what am I going to tell a room full of leaders that they don't already know? As some of you have already noted, I'm very young to be an elected sheriff. And some of you have been in this career longer than I've been alive. So please feel free to grab a cup of coffee or take a short break if you don't want to hear from the young whippersnapper. A short intro. I'm Jesse Watts, Sheriff and Coroner of Eureka County, Nevada. For those who are asking where the hell's Eureka, we are the anywhere in the middle of nowhere. We have 4,180 square miles of some of the most beautiful scenery in this country. We're positioned in the middle of the state of Nevada, just north of Nye County, where Sheriff Worley is from. I've been in law enforcement since 1998, started as a cadet in a small police department in Oregon, moved to Nevada in 2011, and I've loved every second since. I was elected in 2018 by over 50% of the votes with 2 other opponents. In 2018, the state of Nevada also took a turn for the worse and elected a very liberal Democrat governor. Since then, it's been fight on, which I find fitting since our state motto is Battleborn. In December of 2018, just prior to taking office, I had the unfortunate time of meeting the governor at a luncheon. When I introduced himself and told him where I was from, he immediately said, "Where's Eureka?" And I thought to myself, how are you the newly elected governor and don't know where the wealthiest county in the state of Nevada is? So I started to explain to him. He immediately said, "Oh, you're one of those cow counties," which we're often referred to by people from Vegas or Reno. It's true. I have way, way, way more cows in my county than people. But the hardworking people in my county are some of the hardest working folks you'd ever have the pleasure of meeting. We have a permanent population of just over 2,500, but our daytime population is 25,000 due to the gold mines that are positioned in the county. We have 4 of the largest gold mines in the world in Eureka County. When I told him about the gold mines, he said, "Oh, like the ones that Elko has." Elko's an adjoining county. Most of our mine workers live in Elko County, but work with us. I could tell this conversation was going nowhere, and it ended a short time later. In January of 2019, the Nevada Senate voted in the dreaded universal background check law, which how many of you guys have the universal background check law? It's terrible. And I wrote the governor of Nevada this letter. Dear Governor Sisolak, I'm Sheriff Jesse Watts, elected by the citizens of Eureka County, who entrust me with a noble cause, to keep them and their families safe and free from becoming victims of criminal activity. My staff and I take this responsibility very seriously, and like you, have taken the oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the state of Nevada. In the wake of recent criminal activities and events, politicians are attempting to use the death of innocent victims to advocate for laws that prevent honest, law-abiding Nevadans from transferring firearms between individuals without a background check. We are Nevadans, but more so, we are Americans. We must not allow, nor shall we tolerate, the actions of criminals, no matter how heinous the crime, to prompt politicians to enact laws that infringe upon our liberties and responsibilities, our liberties of responsible law-abiding citizens who've broken no laws. The law only keeps honest people honest. Criminals, by definition, do not follow the law. So please tell me how enacting this law will help the citizens of Nevada be safer. The law will make our law-abiding citizens jump through unnecessary hoops to transfer ownership of lawfully owned weapons to friends or others who can legally own them. We have plenty of laws currently on the books that are not being followed or enforced. We have plenty of opportunity to put true criminals behind bars, but because of bureaucracy or politically driven agendas, we cannot. This law is 100% unenforceable by the already thin staff of Nevada law enforcement. You signing it into law does nothing but make it more difficult to transfer. In summary, it is the position of this sheriff that I refuse to participate or stand idly by while my citizens are turned into criminals due to unconstitutional actions of misguided politicians. I was the first sheriff in the state of Nevada to take this stance. Since then, I'm happy to say several others have done so. Why did I take this stance? Because when I rose my right hand and swore on that Bible that I'd protect and defend the Constitution, I meant it. My grandparents who helped raise me instill a lot of freedom and liberty in me in a young age. My grandpa handed me a pocket Constitution when I was 8 years old, and I had to know that. Attorney General Barr recently stated the first duty of government is to protect the safety of our citizens. I think this is a great quote and very important for all of us to take to heart. We're in the business of public safety, and it's truly our first obligation to protect the citizens and visitors of our county. Secondly, our constituents elected us to be their voice, to be the one who stands up for them when necessary. The citizens voiced their opinion and I listened. I took a Second Amendment sanctuary county resolution to the Board of County Commissioners and was unanimously approved. A lot of the counties in Nevada and the country have followed suit. Shortly after that, all 17 sheriffs in the state of Nevada signed a unified letter to our constituents to the constituents, the Senate, the governor, that stated we're opposed to further gun restrictions or hoops to jump through for law-abiding citizens, and let's work on fixing the holes that are currently in the system, like mental health, substance abuse, HIPAA, and those things. Between my last letter and this letter, the state of Nevada passed the red flag law, which is absolutely atrociously terrible because it requires zero investigation. You as a general citizen in the state of Nevada can walk up to a judge, sign this document, and the judge will then order me to go remove the firearms. So on January 7th, 2020, exactly 1 year after taking the office, I wrote this letter to the governor. When I wrote you in February 2019, I expressed my complete disgrace for misguided politicians like yourself using terrible tragedies such as 1 October to showboat and grandstand to create new unconstitutional laws, infringing on our rights afforded to us by God and our founding fathers. Our founding fathers were genius when they wrote the document that you are walking all over and swore to protect and defend. That document is the Constitution of the United States. As we Nevadans have seen in the last 365 days, you don't care about that sacred document, the Constitution of Nevada, or the rights of the people you were elected to serve and represent. I'm writing to you to let you know that I will be fighting AB 291, the red flag law, until there's no fight left in me. This law and others you have signed violate the 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th amendments of the rights of the people of the state of Nevada. As the duly elected sheriff of Eureka County, Nevada, it is my duty and responsibility to stand with my citizens against you and unconstitutional government overreach. My disdain for politicians, including you, for passing gun laws because they've made a campaign promise hasn't changed. We, the people, are tired of it. Several of us sheriffs said enough is enough. We have filed a joint lawsuit suing the governor, the attorney general, and the state for implementing the red flag law. One sheriff in our state took the exact opposite approach and threatened to his public with using the SWAT team to come get their guns because, quote, his job is not to interpret the law, his job is to enforce the law. Since then, he's been the subject of lawsuits, a recall, and political outfall like you couldn't imagine. As of now, we are set to go in front of the Nevada Supreme Court in January. But regardless of the outcome, I will not waver. We as sheriffs cannot waver. Our oath is the foundation of what we do for the people we serve. Once we waver from that, the house we've built as American law enforcement will crumble to nothing. Now, let's fast forward to everyone's favorite hot topic, COVID. As the pandemic started, we were all trying to drink from a fire hose on what it meant for us, our staff, our citizens, and the world as we knew it. As time went on, we went from knowing nothing to daily briefings, to hourly briefings, to conference calls, to Zoom meetings. And as most states did, our governor implemented mandatory masks and social distancing to include shutting our churches down. Now, remember the beginning of my presentation where I said I have 4,180 square miles and just over 25 people? We're socially distanced by design. We went until late June with 0 cases, which was actually caught out of state. To date, we only had 10 cases in the entire county, and 5 of those came in 1 week from out of state. We're currently at 0. As masks and social distancing was mandated, I pushed back since the regulations were 100% unenforceable and not laws. As many of you did, our office was called by people because people were violating the mandate and no gatherings and no mass. Somebody actually called 911 twice for an outdoor church service. Again, I took a strong stance, and my response was very clear. I released this on our department's social media page, which quickly got almost 5 million views and was shared over 5,000 times. This week, ECSO has received 2 complaints about people gathering and not social distancing. These are not an emergency or a matter that ECSO deputies will be responding to. These complaints were due to 15 to 20 people celebrating a birthday party, and today, a church hosting an outdoor church service. The Constitution of the United States allows us the freedom to assemble and the freedom of religion. No emergency declaration that has been signed can take those God-given rights away from us. When I spoke at UNR in February, I talked about the protection of those rights and how it is up to each and every one of us to protect them. People choosing to exercise their rights to assemble is their step to protecting those. From birthday parties to church service, these are the rights of the American people, and just because you don't like what they're doing doesn't mean you're right. You have a choice to stay home, just as they have the right to assemble. In closing, it's my stance that the men and women of the ECSO will not be taking any enforcement action on Governor Sisolak's orders that clearly violate our constitutional rights. Sheriff Lamb and several other sheriffs have taken the exact same stance, and if you haven't, I strongly suggest you do. I applaud you, all those that have, for your grit and listening to the people. We've all heard it before, but Edmund Burke once said, "The only thing necessary for triumph of evil is a good man to do nothing." Are you a good man or a woman? Are you going to do something? Now, as I finish, I hope this time has given you some food for thought and reminded us all that we are the voice of our people. They elected us for a reason. As the chief law enforcement officer in your county, you can tell the feds in the state to go piss up a rope. I just hope that you guys all have a spine of steel to do it for your people. Thank you.
Yeah, Jesse.